My mother came here in the 60s because she left me when I was 2. Mother didn't. She worked in people's homes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how she was able to bring all of us to New York, by getting sponsored, that Americans that lived here. So she worked very hard in people's homes. She worked in office. She was basically a cleaning lady.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to work herself from someone who had no college degree to, being able to support my sister and I, working very hard, sometimes working 2 and 3 jobs.
Wow.
And coming home at 1 o'clock in the morning just to be able to support us and to provide for us. But the thing with my mother is she never gave up. She was a determined woman, and that's what she instilled in me,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to push and to continue going, knowing that I could be anything I wanted to be.
Wow. C'est que là, ou prend ça les détermination et persévérance ça, bon côté maman ou bien bon côté papa?
My mother.
Mm-hmm.
My mother. My father was quiet. He was a quiet man. My mother was a pusher. She was a mover and a shaker.
Abonnez, subscribe dans channel YouTube Mitan Kafwa. La bon pour.
Mother always said she wanted me to be an engineer like my father. I was his firstborn. I loved math when I was in school. So I said, okay, I'll try it. I just said, okay. When your mother tells you to do something,
You have
just
forfeit. Qui côté que remet mathématiques mais non.
Yes, math. I love science, and I did well in those subjects when I was in really high school.
Mm-hmm.
I did well in high school, and then I went to college. College was very hard.
Et ça que fait ça?
Because I was competing with not just students in Brooklyn, but I was competing with other nationalities.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you get scared, you get shy and feel like you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that really impacted me, I believe, a lot. But I just kept going. I just was determined. God really helped me, and just to keep determining. Every time I would fall, every time maybe I would fail an exam, I would just get up and say, okay, let me just do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do it again.
Wow.
And like I tell my son now, I have a 17-year-old son who's getting ready to go to college now. I tell him it's not always about being smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the smartest people that finish on top. It's the ones that are determined.
Et maman?
My mother lived, she lived pretty much in New York after we left, Haiti. She pretty much stayed in New York. Career was more in the sciences. She was a lab technician for many years, where she worked in doctor's offices and then eventually worked in a hospital. She worked at Woodhull Hospital, spent many years there, and then ended up retiring actually from a hospital in New Jersey. And I was raised by my mother, very, very strong ethics, very determined that I would succeed in life. Good confirmation from my father as well, expected me to be successful in life. And it wasn't, to not succeed was not an option. And she really supported me. I remember when I was in college, I told you it was very hard, and I remember my next to the last year, I think I was entering my last year of college, and I remember coming home one day and said, you know what, Mom, I can't do it anymore, I'm tired. My brain just felt like it was fried. But tout that m'était fatigué. And I remember, instead of her, I always remember this, instead of her saying, you better go back to school and do it, she said, you know what, just give me one more semester.
Wow. That was good advice.
Well, you can do it.
Ah, c'est un bon conseil.
Oh, I never, ever forgot that, because if she had said to me, go back and, you better go and do this, and I think I would have shriveled up and just gone into bed.
Abonnez, subscribe dans channel YouTube Mitan Kafwa. La bon pour